Hey Emma, this is Cody. I wanted to reach back out. You sent me over those 10 questions. A lot of fun. Thanks for sending those. Hopefully, we can get you an A. So let's see what we can do. Wanted to up the ante and actually send you over a video as well. So humor me and enjoy. But I'll go ahead and go through each of the questions. And I've taken a couple notes, but there might be some just organic conversational pieces for each of those. So let's do this. Let's go ahead. And the first question: what was your first impression of me, if you can remember? Let's see. First impression would definitely be you're a very headstrong and confident young woman, very studious, competitive, and friendly. I think that comes from your parents, but I definitely think the one thing that sticks to my mind is that you're very big-willed and sure-minded. It's something that you don't often see in young young men or women, but definitely young women. A lot of times they take a moment to kind of find their own. So kudos to you. Big testament to your upbringing, as well as who you are as a person. Number two, did my first impressions stand to be true as you got to know me? Uh, so far, yes. Though, I wish you had stuck with jujitsu. I'm gonna give you a little shade for that one. I think all of those things stand true. Headstrong and confident, studious, a little bit competitive, very friendly. Strong-willed, sure-minded. Keep it up. I love that. Question number three. In the time you have known me, how have you seen me grow? Hmm. Um, I think for you, over the time that I've gotten to know you and your family, I've seen a calming of your nature. Um, it's funny, you're a little less emboldened, but you're more willing to pause and reflect while forming an opinion. It seems like you're almost waiting to have the person you're having a conversation with to provide their full picture, so that you can gain insights as well as kind of prepare yourself for how you might put forth your opinion. I think that's such an impressive skill, especially for someone your age. That's something you don't often learn until you're a little bit older. Just how to speak to people, how to engage in conversation, not necessarily speaking to rebuttal, but speaking to have conversation. So I think that's something that I've definitely noticed about you, and seen you grow into that. So I think that's incredible. Keep that up. I think that the world's better off for more of that. Let's see. Number four. Do you perceive me as being a leader? For me, the true mark of a leader is a bit of a mix of nurture versus nature. That's always the great question, great study. Are leaders born or are they made? I strongly believe that we are both born as leaders through the traits that we embody naturally. But I also think that those traits are codified into what we know as leadership as we grow, and choose to step into those roles. Um, the burden of leadership, if you will. I think that in my own life, I've noticed that in every avenue and every opportunity I may enter as a student, but am quick to find leadership finds me fast. So that's the lens that I'm looking through when I think through this question. For you, I think I've seen and heard you speak of opportunities in your life where you've been thrust into leadership roles, from the Sertomans events that you've helped raise money for, or you've helped run and lead, as well as just how you've you've rose to the occasion at work, as well as through schools, activities and clubs, being a part of DECA and things like that. Um, and I think, rather than shirking or balking at the call to lead, um, you've done an incredible job of not only rising to that challenge, but seeking out how you can take that opportunity and you can do it to the best. I think that's that speaks for itself in a lot of ways. But it's an incredible skill, to hold yourself accountable, to accept that burden of leadership, and to ensure that you do it to the best of your abilities. What are three words you would use to describe me? I think, as a person, I've noticed that you're very passionate, very persistent, and very motivated. It seems like all of the endeavors that you take on, all of the opportunities that you seek and chase, you lead with those three character traits. So I think that, um, those are probably good representations of, the characters, or the things that I would describe, you using. How do you see me as a student? I think, as a student, I truthfully haven't gotten the opportunity to, um, meet you in this moment of your life. But I would wager that, from what I understand or what I've observed of you, um, you seek out answers, and opportunities to excel. Like I was speaking to about, how you've rose to the occasion of leadership. You're always seeking out that opportunity, to be good at something, to find a way to do it to the best of your abilities, always taking on new and exciting things, and your ability to move quickly to decide if those things are worth pursuing, if they bring you joy, if they light you up, if they challenge you, in a way that you find that you can be successful. I think, those are ways that I've observed you as a student. So yeah. What do you see my future holding? That's a hard one. Who am I to say, what your future holds? I don't know that I'm neither qualified for that, nor do I know that I want to, be in charge of that. That seems like such a monumental task to tell someone, what their future holds. But what I will say is I'm excited to watch it unfold. I think, in my experience in coaching and leading, and watching young adults grow, um, I often see a tempering and a refinement that occurs over probably the next 4 to 6 years of your life. I would imagine that would occur for you as well. It seems pretty consistent, in all those young adults that I get to work with, and mentor. When within this time you grow strong in your own self. You're changing and challenging, um, all your narratives, all your notions. You're choosing paths that are both exciting and drive you towards new opportunities. I also see a lot of growth, in who you are, what you expect out of life, and what you expect from others who you allow or bring into your life. Um, and This is a really cool opportunity for you to develop, beliefs that you hold, not necessarily, the beliefs that are parroted, from your parents or your grandparents, maybe even your teachers or professors. I think that's been one of the coolest things to observe. Is this is that time in your life when you are truly going to, pause and reflect, and figure out who you are. You may think you know who you are, but, I can promise you, you don't yet. So, don't get discouraged by that. Um, I'd probably take this moment to challenge you actually to that growth. Don't shy away to it. Um, Allow it to happen, embrace it, accept it, and watch where it takes you as a product. If there was one piece of advice you wish you could have given me earlier in my life, what would it be? Even if it was before you knew me, um, that last little piece is probably a nugget of wisdom. But I'll go ahead and add two more. From my own perspective, in my late teens to my mid 20s, I personally have been broken both physically and mentally 3 times. Um, in my tenure in coaching, I've seen this fate kind of befall several of my athletes as well. So I would wager that it's an experience that most encounter at some point in their late teens to mid 20s. Um, when you find yourself in these moments when you are truly broken, at that bottom of the pit, you have two options. You can you can decide to climb, or you can keep digging. I think for me, the biggest growth and um, the most change and the hardest things that I've done in my life come from choosing the harder path. Um, I'm not going to tell you which one that is, um, but when you find those, I would challenge you to choose the harder path. So I think that's my my big piece of advice. But the second one, and perhaps it's more important. Um, I I shared this with my little brother actually. He's around your age as well, and he's also coming into that time of life that I spoke to. It's exciting and it's terrifying, but he's finding that there are opportunities that he wants to take, or he wants to seek out and he wants to grow into, but um, he is unqualified for those opportunities. And the second piece of advice I've shared with him, and I'll share it with you, is make them tell you no. Um, for me, if I had allowed myself to simply say no to opportunities I wasn't perfectly suited for, I would have never found myself um, in South Florida working on yachts, and I would have never found myself taking a senior management role at an Inc. 500 company and growing our business. And I would have never found myself living out my dream, my vagabond experience, living on a beach, waking up every day to the sunrise, going surfing, um, just in a moment of pure bliss and purpose. And I also probably wouldn't have found myself coaching a team that ended up walking away with a Division II national title. um, make them tell you no. Don't don't tell yourself no for them. Make them tell you no. I think that's going to get you far in life. I think I truly believe that. I think that's the two biggest pieces of advice that I would give you. How do you define the word apostle? Well, I guess we have to think who were the apostles, right? The 12 men who took on the burden of following. Um, Almost all of them had a life of meaning, of means, of purpose. Yet, when they heard the call, they they followed, right? So to me, an apostle is a person who takes up the call. Perhaps it's not always to serve directly, but it is always a call to greater things in the name of Christ, um, for his children who he gave his life for. So if he's calling you, um, he's calling you for a reason, um, and he needs you for the skills and the value that you bring, and he's calling you specifically because he needs you the most. I think that's something really cool to think, and I think that everyone in their own right is called. We are all apostles, and it's your job to seek that out and figure out what we are called to do and how we can use those gifts that God gave us, both through birth and through refinement, um, to glorify him. So I think that's what I would define the word apostle as. And then the very last one, by your definition, do you see me as an apostle? Well, I hate to break it to you, but I'm not the one who can answer that. Actually, let me pose you this question: do you feel like you are an apostle? Have you been called by Christ to lead a path for his flock, for his people, for his children? I would encourage you, if you find yourself asking this question, perhaps for an assignment, perhaps in your own personal life, search your heart and seek out the answers through prayer and stillness. Um, I've found in my own life the best way for me to find that stillness is to sit alone in nature. Um, Ground yourself in God's creation and reflect fondly on the things that he has provided to you. Seek out gratitude and live in it. And listen. Sit there and reflect. Don't get on your phone. Don't allow the world to distract you. Ask yourself that one question, and God will give you that answer. You'll find it. And I would wager that in finding it, you'll find much more. I I hope I hope that helps. I hope that that's a good enough answer. But I'll leave you with this little parting wisdom. Actually, um, you're about to step into a moment where assignments will be given, but the answers don't necessarily matter. You have the opportunity to observe what the professor wants, what the teacher is looking for, what is a good answer, um, or you have the opportunity to take a pause and think about what is your answer. I think in this world, there are a lot of people who are seeking out to pacify society, seeking out to not challenge, not ruffle feathers, to go with the flow. And I think that this is the worst thing that society could ever have happened to it, because we've lost our ability to think for ourselves. Um, and we've lost our ability to answer questions, um, in the name of a grade, perhaps, um, in the name of status, in social validation, in the hit of dopamine that comes um, with posting. Um, Seek the harder path and seek to ask those questions. Be your own philosopher. Um, question everything. Be a student of life. Be a follower of Christ. Validate everything you've ever been taught through your own experiences and your own ability to do research, and that will suit you well. I hope these are good enough answers for you. I'm encouraged by this assignment, and I really appreciate you asking me to contribute to this. So let me know if there's anything else I can do for you. Let me know if you want to dive deeper into any of these conversations or these questions. I'll go ahead and I'll grab this video and I'll cut a I'll cut a little document for you that kind of hits a highlight of these answers that I've given. That way we can ensure that you have all the tools needed. But other than that, let's move forward. Let's take this opportunity. But I will talk to you very soon.